everyone. I'm going to take a big deep breath now because it's good to breathe. And recently, I've not been doing so well at that. I haven't had time to write notes and put up the green screen and plan a big video this week because things have been a bit hectic. I had my sister and Dylan staying with us last week and we had some days out and that was very lovely. But the week before that, I was really poorly to the point that I was worried that when they came down, I wouldn't be able to spend any time with them. As you'll know if you've been watching for a while, it's not been a great start to the year and I have been very stressed and gone through a lot of stuff. But on top of that, I recently came down with a really nasty virus. It started in my sinuses and I felt very much like somebody was just pinching my nose all of the time. I started to get really bad headaches and generally feeling kind of dizzy and not pleasant, blowing my nose a lot, feeling very sniffly. It wasn't nice, but then it started to travel onto my chest.
Oh no!
Now, if you're a long-term viewer, you will know that I have asthma, and when my asthma flares up, I can get really, really ill really quickly. Knowing this, I filled out one of the forms you have to fill out if you want a doctor's appointment these days and said, hey, I think I've got a sinus infection. It's starting to affect my asthma a bit, so I'm slightly concerned that I might need steroids. I'm not a big fan of steroids. They have many side effects that I don't enjoy. They give you a really round face. They make you hungry all of the time. They make you gain weight. They disturb your sleep and just generally speaking, can be unpleasant to take. So when I actually asked for steroids, you know I'm not feeling well. They gave me antibiotics for the sinus infection and steroids for my asthma, and I thought, great, that'll clear it all up, I will be fine. About 5 days later, I was very much not fine. You see, as much as I don't like steroids, they normally work very quickly. Within a day or two of taking them, I'm breathing normally again, my peak flow's gone up, my oxygen levels have raised, everything's back to where it should be. And that didn't happen. Whether it was because this particular virus had really taken hold and the antibiotics they'd given me were just not strong enough, or whether it's because I have got other stresses going on in life right now and I was just very run down, I don't know. All I do know is that I was having to monitor my oxygen levels because it kept going down to sort of 95, 96, which is not where I want it to be. And then when I had finished my course of steroids, because they only gave me 5 days, I suddenly realised not only had my asthma not improved, it had worsened a lot. And so it was one lunchtime that I was wheezing. I sound very much, when my asthma is bad, like Muttley from Wacky Races. So I'm there eating lunch and it was like, take one bite and then go... Take one bite. It was, not the best time. And I thought, okay, I think the doctor's surgery are actually shut for their lunch break right now, but maybe if I fill in a form, somebody will get back to me. So I filled in their online form and sure enough, within about 10 minutes, they'd phone me and were like, you need to come in. I think it probably helped my case that on the phone I could barely string a sentence together. I was so out of breath. So off I popped down to the doctor's and yes, I did walk because, why not give yourself an extra asthma attack on top of the one you're having? Whether it was the fact that I walked or the fact that I was in quite a bad way already, but by the time I got to the waiting room, I was literally just sat there like... And of course, my appointment was like 15 minutes late. So I just sat there wheezing for quite some time, taking my Ventolin and just, enjoying the looks of concern from the other people in the waiting room. Although, was it concern or was it just, my God, you're irritating, please shut up? By the time I was called in and I was trying to explain how I'd been feeling and what was wrong, it was coming out like, sorry, I'm not very well and I can't breathe. The GP did the sensible thing, took my oxygen level and was like, let's nebulize you. Turns out my oxygen had dipped down to 92%. I got nebulized, and normally, again, much like steroids, a nebulizer works super quick. After I've had it, I take the oxygen mask off and I'm like, I can breathe again. Ta-da! That didn't happen. I took the oxygen mask off when the nebulizer had finished and I was just like, that hasn't worked. At this point, the GP just sort of stared at me and I could see the questions going through his mind, like, do I call an ambulance for this person? Or can I do something else? I didn't want to go to hospital. Now, there were many reasons I didn't want to go to hospital. Principally, as I have mentioned, I lost somebody in my life recently and they were on the respiratory ward. And I knew that if I got taken to the hospital, I'd probably be put on the respiratory ward. And I was not ready for that. I did not want to be in that place. I didn't want all those memories to come back. So I was very adamant I didn't want to go to hospital. So they nebulized me again. This time there was an improvement. My oxygen levels went back up to about 98, 99, where they're supposed to be. And although I was still very short of breath, we knew I was getting the air into my lungs and the actual main part of the asthma attack was hopefully over. They gave me more steroids for longer this time and changed my antibiotic to a much, much stronger one. And I am happy to say that I did eventually start feeling a lot better. Until now. I've got a really sore throat, a headache, my muscles hurt, and I'm starting to feel asthma-y again. I took my oxygen levels this morning with my little oximeter and it said 94. It's gone back up to 97 now and I'm keeping an eye on it and hopefully I'm not going to have to go to hospital or even to the doctors to be nebulized again because I can't. I'm too busy. Do I seem stressed? I feel like I seem stressed. I feel stressed. I don't think any part of this situation was helped by the fact that whenever I have to be nebulized for my asthma, and this is kind of a sad thing to admit to, literally, but whenever I have to be nebulized for my asthma, it pretty much always makes me cry. I don't know, there's something about sitting with an oxygen mask on, not being able to take a full breathful of air, and just, you feel so vulnerable. So when I was sat having this nebulizer at the doctor's with my oxygen mask on, there was a little tear that came down like there always is when this happens. And so when I got home, I thought, I know, I'm gonna message someone and just like, elicit some sympathy because I feel like I need somebody to be like, oh my God, are you okay? So I did. I texted a friend and told them, the doctor was on about calling an ambulance at one point because he did say, if this next nebulizer doesn't work, I am just going to ring 999. Yeah, I told them and I was like, I nearly got ambulance to hospital today. It was really scary and I'm still quite short of breath and I still don't feel great and, just thought I'd tell somebody because, it was scary. And they replied and didn't mention anything I just said. Just changed the subject completely. Told me about how their day had been and didn't ask how it was. And I'm sure that wasn't done with any malice intended. I'm sure that wasn't done to make me feel bad. But it did. It did make me feel bad. It made me feel really bad. So yeah, it's been a pretty stressful time of it. I'm still not feeling great. I'm worried I'm coming down with something else that's going to affect my lungs again. And I feel like I haven't fully recovered from the last thing. So I'm just leaning on my Ventolin a lot and hoping I avoid more steroids because, at this rate, I'm just going to grow a beard. Or more of one than I already have, being perimenopausal. I'm going to go and have a rest and I can feel that my voice is going, so it's probably best I stop talking. If you enjoyed this video, that's weird, but please feel free to give it a thumbs up. Anyway, you can click on my floaty head up there to subscribe, and last week's video, which is just a little trip out I took with Dylan recently, is over there. I'm going to go to sleep. I'll talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye.